Oh,
Hi friends, welcome back to this week's episode of Dead Funny University. I am your host and fellow student Kelsey, and teaching us today in the 11th episode of our Zelda semester, the continuation of Majora's Mask, is our good friend and teacher Chris. Chris, how are you doing?
Doing good. Super excited to dive into Majora's Mask. Ugh,
Now,
so
this is going to be the plot episode where you start working us through that, which I am very excited
Yep.
about.
Yep, exactly. Like I said, I did some soul searching since our last one of just to like really think about like all the top video game villains, and I think I feel pretty safe with saying that Majora is probably my second favorite video
Number
game
2?
villain of all time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just he means like I really love Kefka from 7 or from 6,
Mhm.
but fuck, Majora means like a lot more to me. Like I've played this game multiple times. For 6, I played through once. So, and I think I just like the idea. I'm not shitting on Kefka. I think I like the idea more of there's a game out there that so happens to be within my favorite series of all time, where like the hero didn't win for once. You know, I
Mhm.
think I'm more in love with that idea than I am with Kefka. I like Kefka a lot. Don't get me wrong, but yeah, I don't know. I'm weird like that. Like there's some horror movies out there where it's like the bad guy wins, and I'm like, yeah, one for the bad guy. Like
Y-
I'm one of those people.
I am genuinely getting a little concerned that you're going to turn into a bad guy, my friend. Like,
I don't know. Like, did you ever see the movie Oculus? Isn't that what it's
no.
called? With the mirror? You never saw that one?
No
Yeah,
idea what
it's
you're
like
talking
this
about.
fucking mirror. Yeah, it's like this mirror, and like the whole thing is like it caused the family to like kill themselves and go crazy or something. So the brother and sister want to like solve the mystery of the fucking mirror, and they've got like this whole trap set up where if like something happens, they just gotta push this button, this thing comes down and shatters the mirror, and like
Why don't
literally
you
at
just
the end,
start with
kids
shattering the
remember and
mirror?
right, exactly.
Like,
So
boom,
like
done.
literally like right at the fucking end, they go to hit the fucking button, or the brother goes to hit the button, and the mirror had like mind controlled the fucking sister to be in the way of the thing. So he fucking ends up killing her, and the mirror gets away.
And the mirror gets away. Okay.
Yep.
I
The
was
mirror
fine
wins.
with it
One for
being
the
a
bad
cool
guy.
story until the line, and the mirror gets away. Like,
Yeah,
one of the
yeah.
world's most breakable things, only slightly less breakable than a piece of dry spaghetti.
Now, I guess the better way to actually point it out is that the way that it actually happened, and I'm not going to go into like details because I don't really remember them, but the way that the family died, the mom and the dad, it looked as if the brother did it when he was younger. So he got locked up in like the insane
Oh.
asylum. So he's finally out, and this is the first thing the sister wants to do is like, let's prove that you're not guilty. And he's like, I
Oh.
don't want to fuck with it. And she's like, no, seriously, let's do this. I found this mirror through the auction houses and stuff, and I got it. It's like an antique looking mirror.
Mm-hmm.
And so then the whole thing ends with it looking like he took her back to the house and then killed her in the family home.
Oh, that's terrible.
And then the mirror got away. No.
And then the mirror got away. It grew
Basically, just got
legs and
auctioned off.
scuttled
Yeah.
off.
It was all like, deuces, I'm out.
That's like, do you realize I think the reason I have an issue with this is it's about like 2 degrees separation from a Scooby-Doo episode.
That's pretty funny.
If not for the
I
meddling
give you that.
kids, like they're that close.
That's pretty good. I give you that one. That's fair.
All right, so let's jump into the
Ugh.
plot of this. That was tangent number
Let's
1.
do that. The tangent number 1. There we go. We're on the board. We got to make sure we're on the board. So, with Majora's Mask, there is a little bit of a clear up that I have to do. So, through the fact that things have been redone and stories have been retold certain ways with the different alternate timelines and stuff like that, I've gotten the fairies confused. Now,
You
that
monster.
being said, I know I'm terrible. That being said, all of these games out on Nintendo 64, that was fucking forever ago. I'm a human. All right, it happens. Link went in looking for Navi. I was correct. Tattle is not Navi.
Okay.
Tattle is a different fairy. Tattle and Tail, get it? Tattletale? Tattle and Tail are brother and sister and are 2 fairies that are completely separate from Navi. Honestly, being transparent with the audience here, I completely fucking forgot all about like Tattle's fucking relationship with Link. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I was doing some research over the week just to kind of get like the story refreshed in my head, and I was like, holy shit, I forgot like how much of a jackass Tattle was. Like, okay,
Ooh.
never mind. Because you just like kind of block like with Navi, especially in fucking Ocarina of Time, like it's always just, hey, listen, hey, listen, hey. You just kind of like block the fucking fairies out after a while. It's like you
Yeah.
have nothing important to say to me than the tutorial, which if I wanted the fucking tutorial, I play a fucking tutorial. I don't care. It's always like, hey, listen, you press B to swing your sword. No shit, Sherlock. Like I don't you have no useless information for me. So, you just kind of forget about them.
Mm-hmm.
But Tattle and Tail are the brother and sister of this story. But anyways, so start off, honestly, this is actually really cool. So I picked up, like normal, got us some artwork going, so we can throw that in there.
Yeah.
Some visual aids. Yeah, now that my, computer is not, ass, or my internet's not ass, and I can actually, do my part of the fucking DFU's job. Pretty fucking great. But anyways, so what I loved about Majora's Mask was a lot of the artwork that came in, not just from the creators, but also from the fan base as well. Majora's Mask is very fucking loved, like all the way around. And you're going to see why with this artwork. So that's the cover of Majora's Mask, which I thought was cool because Majora's Mask, just like Ocarina of Time, was one of the only few games to get remade in a 3D version for the 3D Nintendo. And what was cool is they did a really good job of like keeping that like little title cover. I thought was really fucking cool. So as you can see, that's the original Japanese release cover down towards the actual. That's the 3D Nintendo 3DS or whatever. Which I never played any of the 3D ones because I've never been a handheld person. Like I don't know. To me, handheld games are not console games. That's why the Switch was such a big like draw to me, was because it was the first time we had a handheld system that had the power to play console level games.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think they ruined them. From what I heard, that it looked really really great, and honestly, I wouldn't mind going back and playing them. I'm just not going to go out and buy a 3DS to fucking do it. It's not going to happen. So I've already played the story. I know the story. I mean, somewhat obviously, but I'm not. Yeah, do that.
Okay, so I got like 3 questions just off of the
Go.
title artwork. So first of all, I noticed that in the 3DS version, the moon has a face, which is goddamn
Mm-hmm.
terrifying. Does the moon have
Mm-hmm.
a face in the game?
Yep. It
Is it
has
that
that
goddamn
exact
terrifying?
face.
Oh,
Yep.
Christ, that's
Yeah.
horrifying.
It actually looks a lot better in the 3D one, obviously, than it does in the original. But yeah, that is definitely the moon's face. It's actually one of my favorite artworks right here, where it's actually Link riding into Tamriel and seeing the fucking moon coming down and the 4 giants,
Oh
which
my
we'll get to the 4 giants.
This is
But yeah,
like this is like Zelda done via Tim Burton. Like, I mean, you're just grabbing him in and letting him consult a little bit and just adding elements of like deeply weird and very creepy and
hmm,
just unsettling into this. Oh, I don't like it. Okay,
but
so
for a video game, it's awesome.
I
I love
mean,
it.
for somebody who's into horror, and then I'm
Yeah,
noticing that in the 3DS version as well, there's that little red um the red Navi up there. So I think that's Tattle, you said?
yeah. Well, Tattle is the sister and Tail is the brother.
Okay.
So
And
Tail is the red one. Tattle is the gold one. That's the one with
okay.
us.
So the gold one is the one that's down here with Link,
Link.
which
Hmm.
is not Navi, but acts as Navi for this particular
Yeah,
game.
basically, literally the exact same character, just a different name.
Okay. And
Female and everything.
so is Tail the Navi for
Hmm.
Skull Kid, which I'm still pissed that Skull Kid is only called Skull Kid. I am mad about that. But is he the Navi for Skull Kid or is he the Navi for the mask? Does that make sense?
So basically what we saw in that video
Mhm.
was that the Skull Kid found Tattle and Till, and
Yeah.
they all became friends together.
Yeah.
The mask has now changed, and then there's a reason why there's a separation between the two fairies, which happens very early on in the story. So we will
Mhm.
cover that this episode.
Okay, then I will stop asking questions for now, but we may come back to this.
Nope, that's completely fine. That's why pictures are here. So, so starting out, uh, one of like I said, one of the coolest things that I love about this is artwork, and I've actually been literally have had this picture downloaded forever, and I've been wanting to show it to you. probably my favorite artwork of Majora ever. I don't know why. I just fucking love it. I actually want to get it as a poster for my fucking wall.
Wow.
It looks so good. It looks so good. I love this
That
game.
looks awesome. I
Right?
love that.
Good. Oh god. But anyways, so as we talked about, Link is searching for Navi. So Link is riding young Epona. Once again, for those of you who are just tuning in, you should go back to the very start of the Zelda DFU to get all the episodes in, because why wouldn't you? But
They're all
we
great.
are starting off on the child era as far as the timeline is concerned. So this is Link beat Ganon. Zelda felt bad about him losing all those years, 7 to be exact. Sent him back in time, made him a kid again, and now he's off to try and find Navi. So young little Link riding Epona through the woods is starting to get a little tired. It's been a long, long day. Hasn't found anything, and he's in like a real foggy, foresty-ish type area. And that's when out of nowhere he gets spooked, because we have 2 fairies that pop out in front of him called Tattle and Tail. They scare him. He falls off Epona and kind of gets knocked out a little bit. He's not down for long. Whenever he gets up, he sees our friend, the Skull Kid, with Majora's Mask on. So this is, like I said, everything takes place after that video we watched, with Majora's Mask on, digging in his saddle sack. So Link jumps up to try to stop him, and Majora slaps Epona to get her to start running and holds on while Link is also holding on to Majora's leg, or Skull Kid's leg, I guess. So he ends up getting away, and Link gets dropped and hits the ground. Well, he looks around, doesn't remember which way they went, so he just starts, to run in the direction and he thinks they are, and sees what he can find. So he gets further and further and further and deeper into these woods. Well, luckily for us, Skull Kid also fell off of Majora, but not without stealing an item, and that item was our Ocarina of Time. Very, very, very good item to steal if you were going to steal something. Very powerful. So we need that back. We definitely need that back. So we end up chasing him into kind of like, it's basically a dungeon, but it's a forest-ish type dungeon where you end up falling down, and you get down there, and basically Skull Kid just kind of mocks you for a little bit. And as it looks like you're trying to get hostile to get your Ocarina back, Skull Kid first goes to show you what the actual powers of this mask are, because we don't really know anything about the mask. So he uses the powers to then turn you into our first little hurdle that we had to jump over, is Deku Link.
Oh, you're
So
adorable.
we officially get turned into Deku. The sad part is, you might be adorable, but look at those eyes. The eyes are always so sad with this man.
Yeah. I
So
mean,
sad. He looks so depressed.
he really
Ugh.
does. He looks like, somebody plucked this flower and this flower had a long life ahead of it and you just denied it for a momentary enjoyment, you absolute monster. Like this little Deku Zelda or Link, excuse me, is just way too serious and it's very cute.
Yeah, poor little guy.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so he turns us into one of those. So basically what has happened is that he has taken he's used his power to take the spirit of another Deku, or Deku, whichever way you want to pronounce it. I guess technically it would be Deku. I said Deku growing up, so I keep saying Deku. Anyways, which is so weird because I love My Hero Academia and his name is spelled the exact same way, but I call him Deku. Anyways, doesn't matter. So Deku Link. So he's taken this soul and has turned it in, or has shaped like its body and stuff around Link and turned Link into that. So there's actually like a soul to this Deku that we're like inside of right now, even though he looks like Link. Yeah, exactly. Which is
So,
kind of weird, but it makes sense later on in the game.
but
Doesn't
that's
make sense
also
right now.
kind of the mask's experience, right? Because the mask has a
Mhm.
soul, and the mask is just like we will find a living creature, and we'll just like mesh ourselves to it,
Right.
like Lord Voldemort on the back of the head. And so, God, that's got to be weird for Link, though. Is there any like interaction between Link and the Deku Soul?
Yes, but not yet.
Oh, fine.
That we will still get to in this episode.
Okay.
So the more towards the end. Anyways, so with having this mask, the cool part is that we do obtain some new powers. One of those powers is Link can spin around in a circle because he normally does that with a sword. He'll spin around in a circle with a sword out, and it's like his hat because of how fucking long it is. Why how that got longer, I don't know. It acts as like a weapon and hits people. There's little, and this is actually kind of cool. I kind of wish I actually had a picture of this. I don't think I do. But in the Zelda universe, there's always been this aspect of the yeah, no, it doesn't have that. But there's always been this aspect of the Deku are in this flower that's always on the ground. And they can hide in the flower and you go and see the top of their head, but you can't hurt them whenever because they're normally bad guys, these are normally enemies. Whenever you walk away, they pop up and they actually shoot pellets out of their mouth at you. That
Ooh.
gigantic hole in the mouth, yeah, and they actually shoot you. So that's what that's known for. So you can actually now access those flowers. And if you hold it long enough, you can actually use it as a boost and it will shoot you out. And then you pull out two gigantic flowers that rotate like pedal or propellers, and then you can glide where you need to go. So
Oh, I love
an
that. That's
ability you get.
adorable.
Yeah, that's an ability you get. So yeah, there's a couple cool things, and then you can also blow a bubble out. They don't let you shoot a pellet, but you blow like this gigantic bubble, and then you shoot out, and it can hit and actually do damage. It doesn't do a lot, but it's something. So yeah, so basically, Skull Kid laughs at this happening as he's backing up. Tail is right with him. What he doesn't notice is that Tattle, because they've kind of taken on the role of acting like Skull Kid and just being douches, she stays behind and she's making fun of Link. The door closes. So now it's her and Link, and she can't get back to Skull Kid and Tail.
Oh,
Exactly, things have changed. So she then blames all that on Link and says Link has to help her find her way back to Skull Kid and her brother. So Link doesn't really give a shit about that. Link's more of I gotta get that fucking ocarina back.
yeah, I was
So
gonna say, screw her.
yeah, exactly. So he has his own reasons. So obviously she's just tagging along at this point. So Link is running after Skull Kid, and you go through this like little dungeon. It's nothing too crazy, and it ends up bringing you out to what is considered Tamriel. So in Tamriel, the way the map's laid out, and I have to find a map and show it to you because I couldn't find one quick enough, so I just jumped in here. But anyways, the way it works is that it's basically like a circle, and in the circle, dead in the middle, we have Clock Town. Clock Town is where everything happens, including the moon. So the moon, basically in 3 days, Clock Town has their annual festival. Skull Kid's goal is to make the moon crash into the earth on that festival. So whenever the clock strikes midnight on the third night, that's whenever this tower, this pin kind of goes up and it falls down the whole top of it. And there's stairs that take you all the way up to the top. You can go up to the top. That's where Majora is hiding out this entire time. Majora is actually in Clock Town. Like if you actually leave Clock Town, you turn around and look and you zoom in, you can actually see him on top of the tower. So he's hiding out there the entire time. You just can't access him until midnight the third night.
Follow-up questions.
Go.
Okay, so we have Skull Kid, we have Majora's Mask, and then we have Majora. 3 separate characters. And you like, for example, you just said Skull Kid's goal.
I don't know if I would say Majora's Mask. I would just say Skull Kid Majora.
Oh, so
the mask is living itself.
Yes.
And it basically took over Skull Kid as a host.
Yes, which is why I
Right,
was
okay.
defining it as a separate character from Majora.
I get it.
Yeah,
that's fair. That's fair because there is like an actual Majora, so you will see him later on in the game. So that's fair. That's fair.
Because Majora's not controlling the mask, right? He may have imbibed his will into it, but it has its own identity separate from him.
I don't think so, actually. No, I would say Majora is 100% in control, and he's trying to wait until he can get the power he needs to be able to transform back into himself.
Then I'm gonna
The map would be a host for Majora.
Okay.
And he's using Skull Kid as a host to do his bidding.
Okay. So when we talk about this, one of the things you just mentioned was Skull Kid's goal is to make the moon crash into the earth. My guess is Skull Kid's goal is to stay warm and happy and like live a good life. But Majora's Mask, which is being controlled by Majora's goal, is to make the moon crash into the earth. Is that correct?
Correct. Exactly. Okay. That would be correct. Yes. That's Thanks for the clarification. Yes. So that's more of exactly how it's supposed to be. Anyway.
Kelsey's right. Kelsey's right.
One of those things where you gotta kind of like follow the fucking circle and try to not fall off here. So good luck, everybody. So the map, we've got Clock Town. You've got your ice tower, like always. You've got out to the left is the Great Bay Zora Hall. That's where your water temple is. You've got out to the stones where that's going to be. That's actually kind of cool. Is this was the first time you didn't actually have like or we didn't have the volcano,
Hmm.
which is what really signified the difference that we weren't in Hyrule, because usually the Gorons are always with the volcano. It wasn't like that this time. They were actually in they were in Snowhead.
Yeah, I noticed that the shrine is in the ice, and so is
Hmm.
there a reason for that? Do they explain that at all?
Yep, it's basically the big boss there had came in, and it's basically covering everything in snow.
Okay.
So that was like one of your things to go do that, and we'll get more into that when we get there because it goes on with the mask and set and done and all the other fun stuff.
Okay.
So and then we've got Romney Ranch once again, where you get opponents stuff like that. You've got Woodfall, obviously Deku Palace, which is where all the other ones live. Um, the Akana Valley is kind of more of like the Sheikish territory, and then the Stone Towers and stuff really doesn't actually have like a race that lives there, if you will. That was always a weird one. It was just kind of off by itself. I thought whenever I first was playing the game, that's where we would see like the Gerudos,
Hmm.
but no, especially since the Gorons were up top. But oh well, is what it is. Because like I said, in this game, you only get to turn into 3 of the races: the Deku, the Zora, and the Goron. So yeah. Anyways, that being said, so we make it out of the little forest and we're here in Clock Tower. Basically, what happens at that point is that we run into our old friend, and by old friend, it's only because you see him, but it's not like somebody you talk to, but you know who he is, which is Mr. Happy Mask Salesman.
Is he
So
actually happy?
that's what his title is the Happy Mask Salesman.
He
He
looks creepy as fuck in
Creepy
this
as fuck right
picture.
there. Yeah, I know, right? But yeah, he's known as the Happy Mask Salesman. He actually gets extremely fucking pissed off at you, which we're about to cover here in a quick second. But yeah, so he sees you and he knows that that's not your body. He knows something is up. So he's like, I mean, I've even found one with him smiling, and he still looks fucking creepy. Anyways, so there's nothing I can do for you, bro. Sorry, I tried.
I do not ever want this man making eye contact with me and going, I know that's not your body. Like, nothing will make me run faster and be more convinced that some guy's about to skin me. Like, that is
Your
horrifying.
chances with Kelsey were already at a 0. Now they're like even lower than that. I'm
Yep.
sorry, man. But
Mm-mm.
anyways, so you talk to him, and basically he's like, "That kid stole something from me. If you can return, if you can get your stolen item back and my stolen item back, I will then show you how to get back to your own body." Which Link is like, "Fuck it, I'm game." So basically, he tells you about the fact that he's waiting on top of the tower. When the clock strikes midnight on the 3rd day, you'll be able to, do what you got to do. So basically, this gives you, which was I thought was really cool. This gives you a chance to really have 3 days to just interact with NPCs, because there's always side shit for you to be doing. There's like a whole side quest where this dude's like robbing shit, and you can stop him, track him down, stop him. You don't really gain anything from this. This is just more of you just being able to. It's basically the calm before the storm. Like every other time you're fucking playing this game outside of this 1 3-day span, you're stressed as fuck because I've got to do all this within 3 days. Because if I don't, I have to reset time, and it resets all my progress if I don't make it all the way to the end point of this one specific thing I'm trying to fucking do. So this is like the calm before the storm. Everything after
Mhm.
that, you're like, fuck, it's day 3 already? Fuck. Like, yeah, you get really stressed out in this game. So really hard fucking, like, it was a really cool mechanic to add in, but it definitely turned a lot of fans away because they did not like the fact that they were on a time schedule. So including our resident fucking Nintendo fanboy Jojo.
Yeah.
So he was not a fan of the time system at all. Anyways, so you go around, kind of mess around with stuff, meet all these different people, talk to people, get to hear all these interesting stories, which that's always been something that was cool to me with Zelda is like every NPC is like their own person. Like a lot of NPCs that you normally see around you and stuff like that in games, you can kind of feel like they're copies and stuff like that, and they
Yeah.
don't have anything but there's generic shit to say. This is a lot different. Like there's all these different people who have their own stories, the own thing that they're doing in town. They're normally found in the same spot, but they also move around and shit like that too, which is cool. There's all kinds of stuff. So get a real chance just to experience Clocktown. We get to the third night, festivals going off, fireworks going off, and the clock tower pin is pushing up. It's like this little wooden pin that pushes up and it drops down, opening up this gigantic platform. So, yeah, this huge platform on top of this tower. And then the stairs make themselves appear. They're like wooden doors. They just fall down to certain heights higher than the last one, so that would make stairs up. Go all the way up there, and you see Majora. He's not paying attention to you. You look up and the moon is like right the fuck above your head. It's like super close. So, which by the way, because we're talking about the moon, that is one of the posters that I'm super pumped about getting for my bar for my house whenever I go to get my new house, because I'm definitely gonna have a bar in there. And my entire bar, which you're gonna love, is all gonna be video game alcohol themed posters.
That does sound really cool.
So like one of them has the cactar on it from Final Fantasy, and it's called 1,000 Needle Tequila.
I love it.
That's one of them that I've got,
That's
right?
amazing.
This one, it has the moon up there, and instead of blue moon, it's blue doom. I was like, "That's
Ah,
fucking sweet."
I love
Yeah,
it.
it's gonna be all those posters around. Super happy about it. But anyways, so you get all the way up there and you see Majora. He's not paying any attention to you. He can give it two shits. So he's looking at the moon and he turns around. He sees you, and he's just kind of like flipping the ocarina. So then you see Tail, and to be fair, Tattle has kind of gotten to the point where she's like, okay, I was kind of an asshole to Link. I was kind of been an asshole around Skull Kid. Maybe Majora's mask is kind of, giving off these negative vibes and
Yeah.
just kind of doing that, right?
A little bit of a shit. Yeah.
Well, yeah, exactly. So she yells out at Tail, and Tail moves forward, and he only says four words. Or no, he does say four words. Sorry. He says canyon, ice, water, and forest. And then everything goes quiet, and he goes, the four that are there, bring them here. And then Majora kind of flies up and slaps Tail and knocks him to the side, and it's like, shut up, stupid fairy. So that's your hint. That's like your big hint for the fucking game. It's like, okay, the four that are there, bring them here. After that, Majora's like, I'm done with this charade. I'm just going to end it now. So he looks up and he starts screaming, and this aura comes out of the mask, and it starts bringing the moon down. Like he's increasing the time. So you've got like 5 minutes. So you've got 5 minutes to make a bubble actually hit Majora and knock the ocarina out of his hand. As soon as it does, you grab it and you instantly go to play it. You play the Song of Time, which Link already knows due to the previous game. So it's not like, you're just fucking randomly getting information from nowhere. This is something that he learned and used multiple fucking times in that game as a child and as an adult. But what's cool that I liked about this the most is that whenever you are wearing a mask, it changes the instrument.
Oh,
So
neat.
those are Deku pipes, which I thought was really fucking cool. And they sound different when you're playing it, which is awesome, obviously.
Oh, I
So
love
you
that they
play the
did
Song of
that.
Time, right? It's so fucking cool. Oh, the Zoras, it's a fucking guitar. Yes. And it's like a fucking like dead fish. So it's like a spine and shit, and you're fucking playing. It's so cool.
That
I
sounds
love the
cool.
Zoras. That was my favorite part. That was my favorite fucking part. And the Gorons were drums. We'll get there. But so you reverse time and it brings you back to Clocktown. But the cool part is that because Link played the song, he keeps his memories. And for some reason, because Tattle is in the vicinity and on Link's side, she keeps her memories as well. So
Plot.
every time you reverse time, exactly, plot. Every time you reverse time, you keep your memories. This is where the game gets rough. So I kind of touched on this a little bit, but to kind of expand. So let's say we're going to the water temple. I have to go all the way through the Zora shit, get all their side quests and shit done, get to the temple, get all the way through the temple, beat the boss, find the one that is there, and bring him here, all within 3 days. That's just one temple. If I reset the time anywhere within there, and you don't have to do it on the third day, you can reset right away if you want to. You reset whenever the fuck you want to. You just play the song with that. If I reset anywhere in that point, any of that progress is not saved until I've completed the temple and have talked to the one. All that progress I did is completely erased, and I have to start all the way back from square one every time.
Ooh,
That's
yeah, that's a
temple.
lot.
There's 4. Yeah.
Now,
It
do
doesn't
you have
include all the side
control?
missions and shit.
Do you
Go
have
ahead.
control over which one you go to? Like, can you
Yeah.
start? Okay, so if you get driven crazy going to the water temple, you can go to the ice temple and like knock that one out and then come back when you're calm.
I feel like for some reason the stone temple, I think you needed the Goron to get in there. Other than that, I think the rest of them. You know what? It might not have been. I know for a fact you went to the forest temple first. I know that for a fact.
That was
And I
non-negotiable?
know you had to have the Gorons to get into the stone one because they do the fucking roll. And you had to hit this ramp to pop up over this fucking wall. I want to say, I just don't remember anything you had to do with the Zoras to get the Goron. That's where I'm confused at. So maybe you did, and if you did, it definitely would have went forest, water, ice, and then stone. So, but I just like I said, I can't remember what the Zoras would have been there for. That would have helped out with that whatsoever. So,
If
is
you
it what?
know, put it in the comments below. Like,
Yeah, sure.
I
Like I
want to
said, it's been
know.
a long time, guys. Like I had the original golden cartridge Nintendo 64 game. I did not play the 3D version of this. I haven't touched this game in so fucking long. So I'm more than happy to be like, hey, you fucking missed this, and I'll go fucking look it up and make sure we're both correct. Anyways, so yeah, so you reset time, you're back at the beginning, you still have your memories, you know what's going on. So you walk into the clock tower, and sure enough, our buddy is there. Well, our buddy, not your buddy, but our buddy is there, Mr. Happy Mass Salesman, and he's super excited to see you and sees for some reason he didn't lose his memories. Plot. Yeah, plot. So hey, yeah, I love that. Like how we were talking about on the fucking podcast with the whole Wesker. Yeah, I feel like that we could do that and always plot. So, anyways, so you go in there, you talk to him, and he's super excited because he sees that you got your ocarina. It's like, oh my God, you got your ocarina back. That's great. That's great. He's like, here, I'll go ahead and show you the song. So he shows you the song of healing. So you play the song of healing, and it actually shows Link the spirit of the Deku that he's basically, co-inhabiting this body with. And what the Song of Healing does is it actually heals that spirit and then seals it into the mask in a way that's peaceful versus the way that it was. And that's what the
Oh,
Song of Healing does. So now we're back to normal Link, and we now have our Deku mask that we can put on whenever the fuck we want to change back into a Deku. Which, by the way, I don't have them up, but I'll have to look up the animations. Super fucking painful. Super fucking painful. Like they full out like make you like scream and shit when you're putting on these masks. It's not fun
oh
for
my
Link at
God.
all. Yeah. Like what you saw happening at the end of that video whenever fucking Skull Kid put on Majura's mask, yeah. It's basically what happens every time Link puts on a mask.
Jesus.
I mean, your
Why
body
would
is
you
literally
ever put one
transforming.
on?
Gotta do what you gotta do to be the hero, Kelsey. Gotta do what you gotta do to be the hero.
Ugh.
This version of Link easily would be like in a wheelchair by the time he hits like fucking age 35, bedridden, not even a
Yeah,
wheelchair.
I
He's in
mean,
a bed.
everything you do to your body is permanent. We like to pretend that isn't true.
Mhm.
It so is. Putting yourself through extraordinary agony that many times, because my guess is you're putting on masks rather a lot in this game. That
Well,
has
in those,
permanent
there's only the
consequences.
3 that change you. There's only the 3 that change you. The other
Mhm.
ones do not change you. You stay Link. There's only the 3 that, 4 that change you. The 4th one is the final game mask, which we'll get there
Mhm.
when we get there. I can't wait for you to fucking see that one. But anyways,
Well, do the other
so
ones hurt when he puts them on and takes them off?
you're talking about the non-race
The
ones?
non-race.
No.
Yes, the non-race ones.
Yeah, that's what they are. They're
No, they
real.
absolutely are. It just sounds terrible.
Obviously, yeah. So, but no, those don't hurt you. You just slip them on and do what you're
Oh,
fucking
okay.
doing. I mean, yeah,
Okay.
it was one of those things where like I had the bunny mask fucking hotkeyed, and I'd fucking be like doing something, and just flip that on real quick and just fucking take off, and yeah, it's yeah, no problem. But this goes into like a whole cinematic of you like in just fucking pain. I
Hi.
mean, think about the body differences from a Deku to a Link to a Zora to a Goron. Like, there's some vast body differences that your bones are breaking and fucking restructuring and all this other shit that's going on.
And your organs are doing like
Mhm.
oh god, yeah, no, that's not great. Okay,
Yeah.
I understand why it hurts. That makes sense, but that's terrible.
Yeah,
Ugh.
for sure. And the best part is like as we were explaining this, I completely fucking forgot about that until I saw the mask, and I remember being like, "Oh yeah, those cutscenes really weren't that fucking good. Like they were pretty bad." I remember that now. uh, but yeah, so the spirit is fine now, but Link is forever scarred. So there's that. Oh man, but yeah, so that's how you get the mask off, and I think that's gonna pretty much wrap it up for our first episode. We kind of got into kind of the introduction of the game, and we know what we need to do. We need to go to
Mhm.
our four towers
Mhm.
and bring the ones who were there here. Yeah, that's pretty much a good spot to kind of move on.
Do you know, I know you didn't play it, but I don't know if you heard from somebody else. In the 3DS version, did it still hurt to put the mask on and off? Did that still cause a
That I
screaming
don't know.
cutscene? Okay.
Yeah, that I don't know.
'Cause I would wonder if they would get feedback like, "Hey, you made a kids game and you added a whole lot of pain and torture into it. Maybe yank that out of a kids game." But hard to
Uh,
say.
yeah,
Alright. Well, if you don't know and you know in the comments, please throw it in the comments, which segues
yeah,
us
or
very
play.
nicely into the, "Hey, if you enjoyed this content, please like and subscribe." I'm gonna stop doing weird shit with my shoulders because you can hear it in my voice and it's very creepy. Um, please like and subscribe. Throw any thoughts you have in the comments. There are a couple places where Chris wasn't totally sure. If you know the answer, put it down there. Now's not the time for spoilers,
Yes,
but now's definitely the time to answer questions if you have the information. And a bunch of you are watching these
absolutely.
because you love Zelda, so you probably know. So fill us in. And we've got Twitter and Twitch links down there as well because we've got people doing stuff. Chris is back on Twitch and he's actually regularly doing stuff because, yeah, internet. So,
Internet. Yeah, internet.
beautiful thing. So please come and interact with us there as well. And we will see you in the next class of Dead Funny University. Bye, friends.